8 candidates eagerly prepare for a crucial hiring examination, vying for a lucrative corporate job. Some psych themselves up with words of encouragement, while others make last-minute adjustments to their appearances before taking their seats in the dimly lit examination hall. As the 8 hopefuls nervously wait, a guard bearing a firearm enters the room, immediately raising tension. He is followed by an enigmatic man who opts not to disclose his name, introducing himself simply as the invigilator. He addresses the candidates, expressing sympathy for the challenges they've overcome to reach this stage, revealing that they have successfully navigated previous hiring rounds to become the finalists. Their ultimate dream jobs await, but there's one last test to pass. The invigilator outlines the rules of the test, emphasizing that no federal laws apply within this examination space. Instead, the candidates must abide by the singular law of the exam. With a limited timeframe of 80 minutes, they must respond to a single question on the blank sheet before them. The invigilator pauses for questions, met with silence from the candidates, leaving the candidates bewildered by the sight of the blank paper in front of them. As minutes tick by, anxiety mounts among the candidates. In response, the second candidate takes the initiative, attempting to justify her suitability for the job in writing. However, her actions draw the scrutiny of the surveillance cameras, prompting the guard to forcibly remove her from the examination. The fifth candidate eventually deciphers the test's rule. They can communicate with each other, just not with the invigilator or the guard. This revelation prompts them to consider that cooperation might be the key to uncovering the hidden question. In their collective confusion, the group explores various strategies to crack the test, though none of them seem entirely clear on the path forward. Candidate number 1 remains silent throughout, prompting the fifth candidate to suggest they adopt pseudonyms to preserve their anonymity. Deaf, brown, black, and white are assigned names based on their race, while the female candidates become blonde, brunette, and dark, according to their hair color. White decides to test the bounds of the rules by rising from his seat, realizing that the guard does not intervene, allowing them to move freely. Dark posits that the questions might be written in invisible ink or carry a watermark, leading the group to inspect their papers with scrutiny. Despite their efforts, they fail to uncover any clues. The possibility of hidden messages detectable with UV rays or X-rays is then entertained, spurring the group to search for alternative light sources. Deaf, however, remains passive, silently observing. Blonde discovers strips of emergency lights but faces the challenge of triggering them, as there are no visible switches. In their desperation to find a solution, the group decides to break other light bulbs to induce an emergency situation and illuminate the room. The group is divided on whether to risk breaking the light bulbs to trigger an emergency situation. A vote is conducted, and eventually, they decide to proceed with the plan. As they break all the light bulbs in the room, the space is bathed in blue light from the emergency black light. They eagerly scour their papers for the hidden question, with the exception of Deaf, who remains disengaged. Unfortunately, their efforts yield no results. Brunette suggests removing the first layer of the strip lights in the hope of generating UV rays, which might reveal the question. Using their heels, they break the strips, unveiling another form of light, but it, too, fails to illuminate the question. The group's frustration grows, especially considering they now have only 60 minutes remaining. White, growing impatient, suggests they experiment on the disqualified number 2's paper since it's already forfeit. They try tracing the paper with a pencil and tearing it into sections for further experimentation, even resorting to liquid testing. But none of these efforts proves successful. Brown proposes an intriguing theory. They are not taking an ordinary exam but are participants in a betting show. According to his theory, company board members are placing bets on which candidate will crack under pressure, and their sole purpose is to entertain the board members. Dark expresses skepticism about the board members having the time for such endeavors, but Brown contends that for individuals with immense wealth, entertainment and taking risks are their primary concerns. As the pressure mounts and time ticks away, candidates start to share their theories. Some speculate that the mysterious figure behind the test could be the invigilator, while others believe it might be the CEO. These conjectures give way to insults and arguments among the candidates. Brunette, however, asserts that there's no audience watching them because the CEO is directly involved with the company and wields complete control over it. This statement reveals that she knows more about the company than the others. Brown questions how she obtained such information, and Brunette reveals that she is already an HR employee at the company. She applied for a higher position, and now she's competing for it. To divert attention away from her, she approaches the guard and retrieves a lighter from his pocket without exchanging words. The group devises a plan to use the lighter to trigger the sprinkler system, as water might reveal the hidden question on the paper. Dark climbs onto a chair but struggles to reach the fire alarm. Water starts showering down, but the papers remain unchanged. Suddenly, the guard approaches the group. In a dramatic twist, Dark unfolds the paper in her hand, revealing it to be her own. It becomes evident that White has betrayed her to reduce the competition. The moment he declares his intent, the room plunges into darkness, and the candidates conclude that the lights are voice-activated. White maliciously sits in front of Def and coerces him into tearing his own paper and consuming it. The guard intervenes, leading to Def's disqualification. With only 5 candidates remaining, Black criticizes White for his ruthless actions. In a fit of anger, Black knocks White out with a single punch. The group restrains him in a chair and gags him. When White regains consciousness, Brunette removes his gag. He requests his medication, explaining that he's also infected with the virus and needs to take medicine every hour to survive. The group searches for the pills, but White comes up empty-handed. Some candidates believe he's using his condition as an excuse to manipulate them into releasing him. White asserts that one of them has taken the pill and promises to disclose the question if it's returned. He loses consciousness again and begins trembling, leading some to think he's faking it. With only 15 minutes left on the timer, they frantically search for the missing pill but can't find it in the room. With time running out, Brunette accuses Brown of taking the pill and is proven right when she discovers it's stuck to a piece of chewing gum under his table. As the group tries to retrieve the pill, a distressed Brunette pleads in front of the camera, begging the invigilator to save White. However, this act of communication with the invigilator results in her immediate disqualification. Blonde uses a bobby pin to extract the pill from the vent, saving White's life and untying him in the process. Once he recovers, the remaining candidates press him for the answer he promised. White discloses that the answers they've been searching for all this time are the candidates themselves. White decides to take matters into his own hands and attempts to seize the gun from the guard. However, Black intervenes and takes control of the weapon, aiming it at White. White discovers that the gun has fingerprint recognition technology, rendering it useless to him. Using the guard as leverage, White points the gun at the others and threatens them to leave the room voluntarily so that he can secure the job. Fearing for their lives, Brown and Blonde reluctantly exit the room. In the ensuing chaos, White fires the gun blindly. When the lights are restored, Black lies lifeless on the floor with a gunshot wound to the chest. White prepares to shoot Blonde as well, but notices that the timer has stopped. Approaching the camera, White declares himself the winner to the Invigilator. However, the guard informs him that the timer shows they still have 20 seconds left, and White is disqualified for communicating with the Invigilator. The revelation comes that Def had manipulated the timer while the candidates were engaged in other discussions. The last person standing is Blonde. She re-enters the room and retrieves Def's glasses, which had fallen during his disqualification. Using the glasses, she examines her paper and discovers the words Question 1 written on it. To her astonishment, Def re-enters the room, revealing that he is the CEO of the company and had participated in the test to observe the candidates. When Blonde expresses her refusal to work for an organization that takes lives, the Invigilator discloses that Black is not actually dead, and the bullet he was shot with is a healing capsule that treats the wound upon penetration. It is the company's miraculous medicine, capable of curing any disease worldwide. Ultimately, Blonde accepts the job, having demonstrated her intelligence and attentiveness by unraveling the true nature of the test.